Hey, fourth graders, Miss Crump and Miss Weber and I have a really great writing activity for you to do. This is a writing assignment that we were planning on doing in April as we were preparing for TN Ready. So this is the kind of writing that you want to be really proficient on in really any kind of writing, but we're going to be working on narrative writing. Now I want you to go back and think about when you did Writer's Workshop with narrative writing. Remember, we really focused in on the story Fireflies and how the author of that story created a beautiful arc of a story, focusing on a true beginning and then moving up and adding different pictures or movie scenes from that story, and then coming up to the high point, the climax of your story, and then making sure we're developing our characters all along the way, and then really coming up with a great ending, a good conclusion. Now on Schoology, we have added some anchor charts to kind of help remind you of what that looked like. There's not an anchor chart of an arc just yet, but I'm going to go back and try to add that. But think about when we wrote like a different scene on a different page and we illustrated each scene as we built our story. So you're going to write a narrative, but this time instead of having to kind of come up with your own moment in time, your own narrative, you have a writing prompt, and we've attached the story. There's two stories about a dolphin. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to read both of these, listen to me read both of these, and you're going to have to integrate the two texts together to write narratively. So you're creating a story, but you have to show the knowledge that you've gained from the two passages about dolphins. So I'm going to go ahead and read the two passages. The first passage is passage 1. You'll find this as one of the links, and it's called an excerpt, which means a piece of the story from The Secret Life of Dolphins. Discovering special skills. The dolphin has a very big brain in relation to its size and is rated as one of the most intelligent of all animals. Tests have been carried out in zoos and marine parks that show dolphins are quick learners. They use their memories and water skills to perform a wide variety of tricks. How do dolphins use their intelligence in the wild? Working together. Dolphins live in family groups, and the pod members help and support each other. Their teamwork is most clearly seen when dolphins are feeding. A group of dolphins work together when they are hunting fish. They use different methods depending on where they are fishing. In open waters, dolphins herd large shoals of fish, circling them and then feasting on them from all sides. In shallow waters, dolphins drive fish toward the shore where they have a better chance of catching them than they do in deep water. Dolphins also use their bodies to form a wall. When fish are herded toward the dolphin-made barrier, the fish are forced to stop swimming and are easy to catch. Dolphins have also learned to swim alongside fishing boats so they can feed on fish that are thrown overboard by fishermen. The bigger, stronger members of pod always get the best places to feed. Sound effects. When a dolphin is swimming deep in the dark ocean or finding its way in muddy river waters, it's often impossible for it to see clearly. A dolphin must swim through plants, steer around rocks, hunt for fish, and avoid other dolphins that are swimming close by. The dolphin has developed a special system that gives it a picture in sound of its water world. The dolphin makes a series of high-frequency clicks that are too high in pitch for us to hear. Each click hits part of an object in the water, such as a rock or a fish, and bounces back to the dolphin in the form of an echo. This special sound system is known as echolocation, and it can tell a dolphin the shape, size, distance, traveling speed, and location of the object that it is passing. Okay, so that is the first passage, The Secret Life of Dolphins. And I hope you noticed in that passage there are lots of words that are very specific to the life of a dolphin, such as a pod. A pod is a group of dolphins. Echolocation is how they communicate. Also, we talked about different ways they capture or find food. So those would be important details that you would want to include in your narrative so that we know that you have information from that passage. All right, now here's the second passage. It's called Excerpts from Cool Jobs, A Whale of a Time by Eric Wagner. The sea has fascinated Kelly Benoit Bird from childhood. She always knew she wanted to study it. So when she went to college, the first person in her family to do so, she majored in aquatic biology. Later, for even more advanced studies, she headed to the University of Hawaii. Its graduate school has a large program that focuses on marine mammals. In Hawaii, she started studying spinner dolphins. About the size of an adult human, these animals get their names from the fact that they spin through the air along their long axis as they leap from the water. The dolphins look a bit like footballs as they rotate in flight. No one knows why these dolphins do that. Spinner dolphins, like many dolphin species, fish for prey in groups. Although this was well known, scientists didn't really understand how the dolphins did it. Acoustics helped Benoit Bird uncover the secret, and acoustics is the scientific study of sound. When filled with air, a spinner dolphin's lungs reflect sonar well. Within the sonar signals, Benoit Bird looked for any incredibly intense echoes that would indicate a dolphin's lungs. She marked each dolphin with a yellow dot. The dots allowed her to track the dolphins individually as they moved within the cloud of the other echoes from their prey. As Benoit Bird sat staring at her computer screen, she witnessed groups of as many as 28 dolphins lining up to approach a swarm of fish. Like sheepdogs, they herded the fish closer and closer together. Once the swarm grew very dense, the dolphins then formed pairs and started swimming in great circles around it. That action kept the fish corralled together. Finally, each pair of dolphins took turns dashing into the whirling mass of fish to grab a mouthful. After 5 minutes, they stopped to take a breath at the surface. All right, so that is from the second passage called Cool Jobs, A Whale of a Time. And so think about if I were using details in my narrative from that story, I might talk about the spinner rotation like a football that they made, the sonar echoes that they would hear, and some other things about how they worked together to get their food. All right, so now here is your writing prompt. All right, your writing prompt, remember, is a narrative. So you're going to create a story arc first, maybe on some scrap paper, and think about the characters in your story. So it says, you've just listened to or read 2 passages about how dolphins work together. Write a narrative essay in which 2 dolphins get lost in the ocean and need to find their way back to their family. Be sure to use details from both passages in your essay. Plan out your essay, do some pre-writing, and then write your essay in the document on Schoolology. Or you can write it on your paper and attach that. Your parents can show you how to do that. So think about in your story arc, you're going to have 2 dolphins that are lost and need to get back to their family. Think about how did they get lost? Why are they lost? Think about their names. Like these animals can have names. And also think about how you can include dialogue. How are they talking to each other? Maybe who do they talk about? So you want to have a very clear beginning of your story. The beginning of your story kind of sets up the excitement and hooks the reader. And then you also want to have a development of these 2 characters and their travels. Remember, the setting of your story wants to be clearly defined. You want to orient your reader to where they are so that they don't feel lost along your story. What are these 2 dolphins experiencing? What are they seeing? What are they hearing? What are they tasting or doing along their travels as they are lost? And then how do they go about getting back to their families? So I've also attached some things that will help you. There's a narrative checklist that I've attached. I've also attached some details about writing a narrative story and also about how to end a narrative story really, really well. I hope you have a lot of fun with this. We can't wait to read these and give you some great feedback about your narratives. Good luck and happy writing.